All right, welcome back to another episode of Life on the App. This is episode 82, and I'm joined by two amazing guests, Cass and Brianna. I'm so excited to have them on. I'm sure a lot of you might recognize them from our social media, but you might not know the background on them. So we're super excited to have them on, and I think this is like a future amazing person. People are going to look back and be like, holy smokes, that was your first podcast. So I'm super excited to be their first podcast. I'm going to jump into their bios and then we'll get into it. So Brianna Costa, also known as Bri Finding Balance, is a clinical exercise physiologist specializing in intensive cardiac rehab. She earned her Bachelor's of Science in Exercise Science and her Master's of Science in Exercise Physiology from the University of Delaware, where she was also a cheerleader. Now she shares her passion for movement by coaching cheerleading at Garnet Valley. Brianna is dedicated to wellness and a balanced lifestyle, inspiring others to move for happiness and overall well-being. She spreads awareness about feeling good from the inside out, helping people find joy in movement and prioritize health in a sustainable way. Kassidy Malek is a registered dietitian who grew up in Garnet Valley, Pennsylvania. She was a cheerleader for her entire life, doing all-star cheerleading and cheering for Garnet Valley High School. She went on to cheer at the University of Delaware, where she graduated with a bachelor's degree in nutrition and dietetics. Cass passed her board exams and is currently working as a registered dietitian in Wilmington. Here, she sees clients one-on-one and uses nutrition counseling techniques to guide and motivate individuals toward long-lasting wellness and health goals. Outside of her role as a dietitian, she also is a coach for Garnet Valley Cheer. Cass and Bri created an online community and business called K&B Lifestyle, where they've been working together, combining Bri's expertise in exercise and Cass's knowledge in nutrition to promote a sustainable, healthy habits. They provide nutrition guidance and exercise tips to their followers and are passionate about helping others become more in tune with their bodies by building wellness habits. Their goal is to work with clients one-on-one, offer group exercise and nutrition classes, and continue spreading their knowledge through social media to help others find their happiest, most intuitive, and balanced selves. Welcome to the pod.
Thanks for having us.
Sorry, you guys have like way too smart of degrees. I feel like I butchered those. I'm just like management degree, so super lame business degree. Super excited to have you guys on. Welcome to the pod.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, and like I said earlier, I feel like these two are going to be like literally famous someday. They kind of already are. So I'm so honored to be their first podcast guest. I'm going to turn it over to you guys. How did we get here? Tell us about you.
I kind of feel like the best place to start is like introducing me and Cass and how we came to be. We're both from Delaware County, and we both went to Delaware to cheer. And by the grace of God, Cass DM'd me one day and was just like, hey, and if you didn't know, Cass was a famous cheerleader before.
Yes.
And I was like, what is Kassidy Malek doing DMing me? And we were chit-chatting and we were talking for like 2 weeks, and it was kind of like speed dating. And she was like, so do you want to be my roommate? I was like, I was hoping she would ask me. But honestly, ever since we met, we've been Cass and Bri.
Yeah.
Everyone knows us as one together. When I met Connor, Vince told him one thing: Cass and Bri are like this, so good luck.
Yeah.
But we honestly just got super lucky. Like, a lot of people were complaining about their roommates, and we just immediately were one together, and we were better together. So we kind of just both didn't know what we wanted to do, and I was more into exercise. Cass fell into registered dietitian, and immediately we just knew we were better together. So we kind of grew together. We were cheerleaders together. We've been post-grad together, and we just decided we wanted to keep inspiring other people. So that's kind of where we are now.
So cool. So cool. And yeah, so for those of you that don't know, Bri is Connor on our team's girlfriend. He's so lucky to have her. And I guess we technically like introduced you guys, which is cool.
Yeah, we're a true office love story.
Yes, office love story. You first met in here.
Yeah, we did.
Literally
right over
met
there.
In the office.
Yeah.
Like what a love story. I love that. And then Cass, I've known Cass since I started dating Vincent. So Cass grew up in the cheer world with Vincent and his whole family, cheered with his sister Paige. His mom was your coach at some point?
Yes. Yeah, when I was younger.
Yep. So Vincent's mom was her coach. I think Vincent says he's known you since like you were born.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So knew Cass first, but to know Cass is to know Bri.
Yeah.
So have pretty much known you guys since I joined the Garmin clan, which was like 10, 11 years ago. And you guys are amazing. I've been super inspired by you guys, especially recently. Anyone that's seen my content, I'm starting to be a little bit more on the healthier side, trying to find my world in this mom life of trying to lose weight, but not lose weight, but be healthy, but be happy, but love your body. Like, I'm in this weird space. So I've really been inspired by you guys recently. So excited.
We love the cottage cheese toast.
Yeah, we love your avocado toast.
Literally, it's crazy. I just like grew up eating Happy Meals, so this is a huge lifestyle change for me. And I don't want my kids to eat Happy Meals, but I also do want them to occasionally have fun and eat Happy Meals.
Balance, exactly what we try to promote.
Yes. So let's talk K&B lifestyle. So you guys both have kind of had your own social media journeys. Like you said, Cass was like Instagram famous, especially in the cheer world.
Yeah.
Maybe you can kind of start there and kind of how did K&B lifestyle come to be?
Yeah. So I grew my personal following through cheer. And that just kind of grows. I feel like when you're a cheerleader, you're on certain teams. So that happened. I was younger. But so I've always kind of been on social media, liking that. And then of course we wanted to do K&B lifestyle. And just kind of like the first avenue was to make an Instagram account. We were like Instagram or TikTok, but we felt like we were gonna have more fun on Instagram with like the stories and making posts together. So we felt like we could maybe with K&B kind of show like we're different, but it works for both of us, and like kind of to show how strongly we felt that wellness wasn't one size fits all.
Right.
And like that was very much us.
Yeah.
So then we wanted to put that on Instagram and put that out, and like we would talk about it and be like, it's gonna be so cool to like post stories and like show like what I'm doing versus you're doing, and like how they're both great but they're both so different.
Right.
So then that's just kind of how we started K&B.
Yeah, and I feel like you guys have done such a good job showing like you are like the sleep in type, right?
Yes,
like you
exactly.
sleep in, you're the early morning riser. So anyone that's looking to like embark on this wellness journey or just like maybe have a little inspiration, they show the two sides. So like you wake up early, you're grinding, you're in the gym, you're making your food, right? And you're like, let's journal, let's take our time in the morning, let's get our steps in the afternoon.
Yes.
So it kind of shows like there are two routes, not even two routes, there are many routes that you can go into this world. So talk about that. Like talk about why this isn't one size fits all. Like what really inspires you guys for that?
Well, if you know my Instagram account, Bree Finding Balance, like I'm always posting my daily routine, and we just felt like we were closing ourselves off to so much because Cass is one of the most wellness people I know. Like backstory, went through a big eating disorder, and Cass inspired me so much to get to where I am now because she is the true definition of balance. Like she will go and eat her Happy Meal and be so in tune with her body where she's like, I don't need this for 2 years because I know how terrible this made me feel. So she was just such an inspiration to me, and I was only showing the one side, and I feel like we're closing our whole community and followers off to that whole other half. And we're just so passionate about showing like we're best friends, but we're the perfect yin and yang. Exactly what you said. I'm up at 5 a.m. and I'm like grinding, but then when it hits 8 p.m., I'm in my PJs and I'm reading.
Yeah.
I wake up, it's like literally being best friends with somebody in a different time zone because like I wake up and Cass is just going with all the messages and I'm like sleeping, and then I go at it in the morning.
Yeah.
So
Like she does like morning workouts on Saturday. She's like, is 10 a.m. too early for you to do a workout? And I'm like, absolutely. Like I'm not getting up.
Yeah.
But I'll walk later or something like that. So it's very opposites, but they're both really good.
Yeah, like wellness in general is just so overwhelming, and I feel like everyone's looking for the perfect answer, and we're just trying to show people there is no perfect answer. Like you have to find what works best for you because that's the only way you're going to be able to keep it sustainable if you enjoy it.
Right.
Like you don't want to find just one person who does the right thing and copy them. We want to show that there's so many ways to do that.
Yeah, totally. And that's how I feel. Like I posted the other day, like for me right now, I'm enjoying making the content. So that's forcing me to eat healthier. So I'm like, okay, if this is what works for me, like whatever, this is what works for me. I'm going to keep doing me. Like you got to find what works for you, whether it's 5 a.m., 10 p.m. Like find what works for you. So tell me about your eating disorder journey, like kind of, as much as you're comfortable with sharing. I feel like you share a ton on social media.
I'm an open book about it.
I love that. So tell us like about your journey around that.
So mine started when I was a junior going into senior year of high school, actually. So when I met Cass, she only knew me as that kind of version of me. And if you knew me at the time, I was just super rigid, put so much emphasis on my body and eating. I didn't really like to eat unhealthy things, or if I did, it was so toxic. And then also not helping, I was a cheerleader too, which automatically is such a body-centric kind of area. And it really just, I didn't realize how bad it was. And then obviously as me and Cass got closer, she was so empathetic and she was starting to realize something was wrong with me too. And that's really hard for me to reflect on because it's so hard to think about people caring about me so much where it was so hard
for them.
Cass would tell me after I went through it, like, I would just be so sad. And like, when Cass first started dating her boyfriend Reese, like, I remember one time you broke down to him and was like, Brie won't eat dinner and like I don't know what to do, and it makes me so sad. But eventually I just got to the point where I got to my rock bottom, and I just realized like it was no way to live life. Like, my parents couldn't come visit me and go out to eat without it affecting me for 5 days after. And like vacations weren't fun. I just wasn't myself, and I eventually just completely broke down. And like, thank God I had Cass, because there were a couple times before that where I reached out that I wanted help, but nobody ever really followed up with me to help me get it. And Cass was like, I'm going to find you a therapist. Like, I'm going to help you. Like, texting me every day. Like, what can I do to help you? And I just started to go to a therapist, and best thing, like, I could never imagine being where I am now, where like, we can go out all day Saturday and have so much fun, and I'm eating because I'm hungry, and the next day we have a breakfast sandwich, but then Monday morning I know that I feel better when I work out, and it's all about balance. And like, it's honestly, it's really hard when you're going through it. And like, if anyone is, I feel for you. I post all about it on my account, but just being where I am now, I'm so grateful to be here.
I don't know that version of you. So it's like crazy for me when I see you post like the flashbacks and stuff.
Yeah.
Just like, I mean, I feel like I met you on the beach. Well, I don't know, probably when you were still in college.
Yeah.
But
Probably a couple times,
coming out of it.
And like, she was like, I feel like when you met her on the beach, she was like going through it, but she like,
you just never knew.
You never knew unless you were me. And like, we didn't even talk about it all that, like we didn't really talk about it, but it's just like, I knew, like, just because like she can feel like what I can feel her, like I could just feel it, but it was such a hard thing to like, is it true? Is it in my head?
Right.
Like, it was really hard to, but then finally I feel like it started to be more apparent, and she was like, I don't know, we started just like slowly talk about it more.
Yeah.
But so when you met her, she probably were like...
But at that point, people only knew that version of me, so they thought that was my
so
normal.
Right.
Like, I remember one time my mom was like, I thought you had cancer. And Cass was like, she doesn't have cancer. She is not eating.
Right.
So it's hard when you only knew that version of me, but then it's like, once you know me now, it's two completely different people.
And it was like, I only knew that version of you as well, but like, I think from getting so close to you, I could tell like this, I know there's a different Brie there.
Right.
Like, I know, like, I could
Deep
see
down.
her, but that just, I knew like she wasn't being healthy with, everything she was going through.
Love that. So did you choose your major like freshman year? Like, you knew that's what you wanted to do, or did that like come about later in your college journey?
I think I picked maybe my sophomore year, and I still don't know what I want to do. But I don't know what I want to do, but I was just like, I love to work out. I want to help people take care of themselves, and like, I kind of just fell into this major. I started to like really do my research, and that's kind of how I came out to where I was.
So cool. So let's like pivot. Let's talk social media, all things content. So you guys chose Instagram. We have chosen Instagram too, right? Like, there's a lot of routes you can go with social media. We just got a Facebook, which is crazy, but we just got a Facebook. We just got a Facebook because it just felt like there were so many realtors on Facebook, and it was just like cringe. So we avoided Facebook for a long time. Jade on our team is heavily invested in TikTok. I kind of use TikTok as a place to just like dump content. But Instagram feels like the most logical place for this type of content, with like TikTok being like secondary. So you both have your own Instagram brands. Now you have this combined brand. What would you say is your goal for the combined K&B lifestyle? Like, where do you guys see yourself taking this 5 years, 10 years? Like, what's your goal here?
Well, we want to keep growing on social media, like grow this community further. I think we're at a good start, but we both know like we can put more time into it. Like, we can grow this further. Like, it just has so much potential. Yeah. Especially for
limit.
like what we both do. Like, she's exercise, I'm nutrition. Like, we both are so knowledgeable in them. So we know we can go far, but we want to eventually turn it into seeing people one-on-one, like where they get to see a dietitian, see an exercise physiologist, get both of our viewpoints. We want to do like group exercise classes. We want to do like group nutrition presentations, like anything that we can do to like grow a community of wellness, basically using both of our expertise is where we want to go.
Cool.
We have like a wellness workbook that we're working on. So like, that's probably like our next like first thing, like immediate goal is to get that out, just because it has resources from both of what we do. I think that'll be perfect. So that's like immediate. And then our 5 years, like maybe sooner, like as soon as we can, we'd like to see people. We're just kind of working out how we can do that.
I love that.
Yeah, like we both right now work under doctors, and it's great, and we're really growing in our fields right now. But also, when you're working under doctors, you're only limited so much time with the patient. And when we can see patients outside on our own, I feel like it opens us up to so much more opportunity to help people and to really grow that connection with them where we're seeing them more frequently. And we have our core values, and we're really just about intuitiveness, like happiness and balance. And we really want to help people find the true balance within, like, not just ticking off the boxes. Like, we really want to help you feel happy,
right,
without just a number on the scale, like finding things like that. So, like, that's our ultimate goal, is to see people one-on-one. But then also to create communities within that, where, like, you have support when you're going through menopause. You have these kind of support groups, so we're also able to help you connect there and grow. Like, we always have all these ideas, and we're like, all right, we want to get there. Like, how can we get there? And we try to take steps that way.
I love that. I love it. So that leads me to my next question. You just said menopause. Like, who's your target audience? Like, who's your dream client? And it can be vague. Like, who do you want to work with?
I feel like the immediate answer right now is kind of menopause age, because that generation honestly grew up in such a messed up kind of system. I feel like around body image, food, exercise, and like, there's so much misinformation out there. Like, I'm so big on strength training, and like menopause can help you so much with strength training and like nutrition and everything like that. Like, everyone, they just want that quick fix, and like there is no quick fix.
Right.
Like,
It's a lifestyle.
It's going to take work, and that's like a really big, but honestly, anyone who's just trying to feel better in their skin, like, we have people reach out to us who just left college, and they're like, how are you exercising and eating healthy? And it's like, we've been through it, and like, there's just such a huge range of people that we can kind of help. I kind of feel like limiting it to like that middle-aged woman right now is a really good like starting point, but like we have so much potential with anyone, I feel like.
What do you think?
Even the like girls we coach, because Bree, I don't know if we mentioned it, but Bree coaches Garnet Valley with me,
right?
And the Garms, and there's a bunch of us, but even those girls like love to follow our page, and they'll reach out, ask us questions. So like, I did a presentation for the girls on like their nutrition and fueling their activities. So like, I just feel like we have so much like knowledge in both of what we're doing. To give. Like, we can give it to anybody, and like that's what we want to do.
We also like did a presentation for my mom's school nursing board, and it was like tailored towards busy people and how to fit nutrition and exercise in, because like, you don't need to go to the gym for an hour a day and like see these results. Like, I'm all about 30-minute workouts, and like, that's a huge population we can help too.
Totally. Like, I'm in that now. Like, I do CrossFit 7 days a week, pre-babies, like literally 7 days a week. I don't ever think I had an eating disorder, but I was definitely in a phase of just like addicted to working out. I went through a phase right before my wedding. The anxiety from the wedding made me so stressed that I like barely ate for like the weeks leading up to my wedding. It was just so much pressure. We were coming out of COVID, the meeting of the families coming together, just the wedding we were planning. So like, I got like so tiny. Then literally 3 months later, I was massive from getting pregnant, right? So my body went from 120 pounds to 208 pounds in the phase of like 7 months, 8 months, like crazy extremes. So like, that's why I'm in this journey now of like, okay, I'm not going to do CrossFit 7 days a week. That's not fitting my lifestyle. And I'm eating like, you know, Dum-Dums and chicken nuggets every day with the kids. So like, how do I fit that workout in? And for me right now, it's Peloton. Like, I can jump on the Peloton for 20 minutes. Like, there's no excuse to not jump on the Peloton. So it's just like finding the balance of like really what works for you. And you guys inspire me, right? Like, you inspire me every day. So I'm so excited to have you on. So you talked a little bit about coming out of college. You have people that message you, the Garnet Valley Cheer Girls. Tell me about like your mental health and coming out of college, someone that works out 2 times a day for cheer all day, every day. This is, you eat, sleep, breathe, working out. Now you're sitting behind desks, right? Like, you're both in office environments. So let's talk about what that did to your mental health, what that did to like that first shock of coming out of college. You're no longer, you know, this isn't your life anymore. Let's talk about that.
I mean, we both went through it.
Like heartbreak.
Mentally,
literally,
like,
it's a breakdown.
It was heartbreak.
We always say like, we were like grieving. Like, we loved being college athletes. So the fact that like, all of a sudden our life just did a whole 180, and we were home. We weren't going to cheer practice. No one was telling us we had to go to lifts in the morning. And like, you don't realize how much you love it until it's gone. Like, of course, I didn't want to wake up at 5 a.m. and go to lifts at that time. But now I'm like, someone make me wake up at 5 a.m. to go get my lift. So we definitely went through it, and then like starting our jobs was even a whole nother thing because we babysat for a while. We both were like meeting up with our kids.
God, it was like the best job. We would hang out with each other and get paid.
We would babysit. We would go on walks. So like that was, that was okay. We were still getting our walks in. We were like moving. We had a little bit of free time.
Yeah.
But once we started our full-time jobs, it was like it was a really big like learning curve of how we're gonna fit this, like how we're gonna fit in what makes us feel best with also working 8 hours a day.
Right. And you're losing the high of like being on a team.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's a whole different,
that was, like, I don't think either of us will ever get over not being a cheerleader.
No.
Like that is something.
I just posted a TikTok about it today.
Yeah.
Never get over not being on a team. Never get over not being a cheerleader. We love it. So,
but you guys have both kind of channeled that into coaching, so it seems. Yeah. So you get that like team high.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We like I had an interesting scenario because I graduated a semester early. So I was living at college and Cass was still getting to cheer every day. And I was like, I would just cry. Like they would go to basketball games and I would cry. And I can remember my mom told me at the time, she was like, you need to find a hobby, like something that you love besides cheer, and that's how we're going to get you out of this. And like, then I feel like I started to figure out like I love to take care of myself. And then when Cass started to go through, like I kind of had a couple months under my belt where we were able to kind of motivate each other to like
able to help me.
Start to do it. But then like kind of like transitioning to like a full-time job, it was like really hard because also not only are you working, but you also have boyfriends, you have families, you have friends. And it's like, how do we balance all of this? And it's like, I feel like it kind of just came to setting boundaries for ourselves as well with like, all right, like this makes me feel good. I'm going to work out for a half an hour. And then like, then we'll go coach cheer. Then we'll do this. And like kind of creating that is what's really helped us like kind of carry it on now.
Yeah. I feel like there's such a need for like mental health counseling or whatever, or coaching, lifestyle, whatever, for that like college athlete that graduates. Like you guys know, like Connor especially, like we have this close friend, Sean Locke, like he came out of the highest of highs, like going to March Madness his senior year, and then same thing, goes right into a corporate job, sitting behind a desk, and like there's no grace period, there's no counseling, there's no like guidebook to like teach you, hey, this is how you're going to come down from the highest high of your life of being a college athlete to now entering the rat race.
Well, it's like one day you're winning nationals and the next day you're not an athlete anymore, and it's like they give you all the resources while you are one, but then you're just like
kicked out.
All right, like they obviously everyone cares about you, but they have to turn around. They have a team coming in tomorrow that's going to be putting their focus on. So like that is so hard, and it's like it still is hard. Like I was listening to a podcast by Mel Robbins this week that was like, they say 20s are the best years of your life. Like I'm here to tell you, like
it's the worst.
I'm sorry, it's not. Like you are taught to do the same thing your entire life, and then you're just dumped out and saying swim. And it's like, well, what do I do now? And it's so hard. Like, it really is hard. But I think, like, finding the things we enjoy has really helped us.
Outside of the athletics. And something I learned at Black Ops, which has been super helpful, is, like, you're an athlete for life. Like, I think, like, yes, you can say I'm no longer, it's not my identity to be a Delaware cheerleader any longer, but, like, I'm still an athlete. Like, that title doesn't go away because I'm not, on a team. Like I'm still an athlete. So like when I was at Black Ops, they would call us athletes. Like, okay, all athletes, like come over here. Like when he wouldn't say like, oh, my clients or my gym members, he would say my athletes, like the owner. And I always loved that because there were people in there that were 100 pounds overweight, and there were people in there that were literal college athletes, like beasts in there. But we were all athletes. Like athlete is a lifestyle, athlete is a mindset. So I feel like that's a huge opportunity for you, like but targeting that college athlete that really doesn't know what to do and struggles.
It's really hard.
So let's put like our business hats on. So say, I message you guys, I hire you guys, or I'm reaching out to you guys. What type of advice are you giving someone, right? Like, I want to start this journey. I'm done, sitting on the couch and getting fat, right? Like, I'm ready to take my life back in control. Like, what would be your first advice to somebody that, like, sends you that initial DM?
I feel like you can start with the nutrition, and then I can kind of bounce off.
Perfect.
Yeah, because, I mean, I meet one-on-one now at my job with people who are like, I need to do something. I need to get started. So, initially, I always tell them, like, we just need to, like, it's like you have to put your shoes on in order to go on the run. Like, you need to start somewhere. So let's go through this food recall. Let's see what you're doing now. And let's pick one thing that we can fit, or not even fix, just improve. Like, if you are drinking 3 sodas a day. Like, let's just see if we can get you to drink 2 sodas a day.
Love that.
So literally nutrition wise, like, and that's like my favorite way to go about nutrition and kind of creating a different lifestyle within it and what works best for my patients. I try to tell my patients that I see, like, if you can like get on board and work on small little habit changes with me, I think you're going to notice a big difference and start to feel better. Whereas my patients who, as soon as they come in, they're like, oh, I just want a meal plan. Can you just give me a meal plan? Like, I just need a meal plan and I'll follow it. They don't see the results that my patients who kind of go with the process end up seeing.
I love that.
Because I'm always like, I can absolutely give you a meal plan. We can talk through that. We can figure out what you want to eat and what would be best and help you feel great. But within a week, like, I can't give you a meal plan every day. I don't have the time on my schedule for that. So within a week, you're going to get tired of it. And then you didn't learn how to put the meals together. You didn't learn what makes you feel best. So to make that long story short, like those small habits nutritionally,
they stack up.
It'll probably be similar to with Brie, but nutrition wise, that's so important.
Yeah. And that's like when January 1st, I was like, I'm done being gross. Like, I had to do one thing at a time. Number one was coffee creamer. Like, I was like, I got to stop drinking coffee mate. Like, this is literal poison. Like, TikTok is what taught me. TikTok, literally. That's why I know social media is the route. Like, I know this is the route because TikTok is what told me stop drinking coffee mate. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to start with that. Yeah. Like, that is one thing I can control. Like, I'm not going to stop eating dinosaur chicken nuggets. That's my life right now. Yeah. Like, I know that I can't fix that. And if I do drastic changes, like, it's not sustainable. I'll do it for a month and then I'll burn out and I'll be done. So I love that advice. I think that's like so valid. It's starting literally one thing at a time.
So I think it's like what's really cool too, and like you'll hear Cass talk about this, is like we're not going to be like, oh, you're only going to eat chicken and veggies. It's like you're going to eat every 3 to 4 hours, and we're going to teach you how to pair your foods, which is like what Cass does, and it's like sustainable habits to actually reach those goals. But like kind of in terms of exercise, it's like, where are you now and how can I meet you there? Like, people are like, they get burnt out because they're like, I want to exercise 6 times a week for an hour. Well, that's not sustainable for your life. Like, we're going to look at you, and we go over this a lot in our workbook, but we're going to meet you where you are. Like, let's add a 30-minute walk in today and see how you feel. Like, we're going to schedule out your week, and we're going to see how you are, and then we're going to act like it's an appointment. Then we're going to start to add movement in, and then as you get more comfortable, we're going to add on from there and like find what you really enjoy, because that's the only way you're going to stick with it. Right. So like everyone has their own preference, but we're going to find what you like, what's your bread and butter.
Yes. It doesn't have to be CrossFit. It doesn't have to be a crazy workout regimen. Literally walking.
Low intensity and walking, and like that's a great start for you. Yeah. And then we'll figure out what you like.
All right, so let's take it back to the workbook. So one of your goals is to provide a workbook. What is this workbook? Is it like a PDF? Is it a print thing? Like, what are we envisioning?
Yeah, it's made. Like, it's done.
Oh, good. Yeah.
It's ready to go. We've changed it about 10 times, and we're finally at our final draft.
I'm sure.
But it's a PDF that you can download, and we take you through our core values of like happiness, balance, intuitiveness, and we go through mental health stuff like journaling. We go through exercise, we go through nutrition, and Cass can talk more about the nutrition stuff, but like we're more about just finding your why, meeting you where you are, and like giving you actionable steps to improve each week, because we're all about the healthy habits. And we just want to give you actionable tools. Like, we don't want to give you information. We want you to actually sit down, read this, and then take yourself through it. That way we can keep improving upon ourselves. So
cool.
We're really excited about it. We've been working on it since like October, maybe.
And the exercise part, we did like, where are you at now?
Yeah.
We give you exercise ideas and try this, like fitting into your schedule, like try to do it like this or blah, blah, blah. But like, we actually want you to write down, where are you now? Look at this. Could you add something here?
So cool.
So like, we're doing it with exercise and then nutrition too. Like, what are you doing now? I offer tips, like different food prep ideas, like that you can choose from, and kind of teaching you how to put together these meals that like I learn how to put together because I'm a dietitian, but not everyone understands how to do it.
Literally, they don't teach you anything.
Yeah.
They don't teach you anything. Like, everything I've ever learned in my life, I've learned on TikTok, like or Instagram. Like, they don't teach you anything in real life. So no, I think that's amazing. So are we thinking we're going to launch it soon?
Yes.
Yeah. We talk about it every week.
Yeah.
I'm sure. And my advice with that is like, we talked about having a podcast for 3 years, and we finally did it. And like, you'll look back on this first initial draft or this first initial like version. 5 years from now and be like, oh my gosh, that was so cringe.
Yeah.
Like I look back at our first episode and I'm like, oh my gosh, it was horrific. So like you just gotta start. Like, you just gotta just do it.
We like had a version ready to go in January and we were teasing it and we were ready, and then like we looked at it and we redid the entire thing. But now we really love where we're at now.
Yeah.
We're just like finishing up the final details, but we're like super excited. Like it's been our bread and butter recently.
I can't wait. I can't wait. That's awesome. So let's talk about, like, this is a grueling industry, right? Like being in this and constantly posting, constantly putting out content, constantly improving your workbook. Like how do you guys stay motivated in your own journeys while also trying to inspire others? It's tough.
It is tough. Like I feel like Bree's really good at keeping up with posting and doing her routine, but that comes from our different personalities. Like Bree's very type A, I'm very type B. So like I'll let the posting like go to the side and I'm just doing me. I'm just focusing on going to the gym or doing my exercises and prepping my food. So I mean, I feel like you're gonna be better at like deciding, like telling them like how you do all of it, because I think I'm still learning.
Yeah, I feel like it all kind of comes down to like consistency over motivation, honestly, because like I've been posting on Bree Finding Balance for like 5 years now, so it's a part of my routine now. Right. Where like I like literally get to work 20 minutes early so I can get on my phone and post some stuff, and like that's like me working, but like I'm there early doing stuff for me. So honestly, like I just find enjoyment in that, and like it makes me really happy. And like I used to be so like ashamed of my social media, and now I'm like, no, like follow my Bree Finding Balance. Like I barely even use my regular account anymore. But like I just like to show that like it's consistency or motivation. Like I like to post and be like, today I didn't really feel like going to the gym, but I did, because like that's just my routine and I feel so much better now. So like I feel like that's just kind of what it comes down to, and like it's like a habit for me at this point.
Or just like paying attention, like how, like when do you feel best? Like we're a lot about like being intuitive. Like if you feel your best, like relaxing and not focusing on posting for the day and not going to the gym, like great, you feel your best. But like I can truly like ask myself, like, do you feel your best doing that? Like, don't you want to feel your best, like physically, mentally? And it's when I'm like doing my routine and trying to do my best with the posting and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because it can get to be a lot. Because even with us, with like these reels, like some reels will have thousands of views and some will have like hundreds of views, and you're like, it's you can so easily just be like, F it, I'm done. Like I'm over it. Like this is a waste of time. But like it has to be like a genuine purpose. Like I'm doing this for the right reasons. I'm doing this to help people, or I'm doing it for my own creative outlet or whatever. If you're doing it for the right reasons, not just like I'm gonna make money or whatever. If you're doing it for the right reasons, and then you just have to just stay consistent and like pick yourself up.
The more consistent you are, like it really does pay off. Like when you're posting so consistently, like our followers are constantly growing, and like we're getting that engagement, and that is the best. But it's like it is hard to balance everything, because like we are working full-time jobs and we're trying to exercise, we coach cheer, and like we also have a social life, so it is hard as well. But I think like what I've recently done too is like trying to create boundaries where like on the weekends I'm not posting on the weekends, and I'll give you a recap after, because Monday. Like I don't want to be at everywhere being like, hold on, let me get my story up. It's like I want to also be in the moment as well. So then I try to find a balance with that too, but it's hard.
It is hard, but I love that you do that. Because it like, first of all, it gives you something to look forward to on Monday. Like, okay, what did she do? Because like, you know, sometimes like even with me, I'm like, okay, well, I'm being annoying. Like I've posted 100 times this weekend or whatever. But then when you like kind of take a break, take like a 2 or 3 days off, then all of a sudden my views will go like back up. Because then it's like, they're like, wait, where's she been? Like I didn't hear from her for 3 days. Like what's she doing? So I love when you do that. I love when you do that.
Thank you. Yeah.
So let's talk social media. There's a lot of people on especially on TikTok, I feel, that are like, you know, maybe they'll get canceled for a trend, or like maybe they're pushing you to do something that's like, you're like, whoa, like that's not sustainable. That's not right. What are some examples of some like trends you guys have seen that you don't subscribe to?
The greens powders.
Yeah.
Love that. Like those people that just like wake up and you're like, here's my weird like powder and a right? Am I talking the same thing?
Yes, the green powders mix. Like it's just like it's not a fix that like it's promoted to be.
So like, I lost 20 pounds and I'm not bloated anymore because of this
the green powder.
I'm like, that's chemicals.
Yes.
So,
right? Like I'm crazy.
Don't love the green powders.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What about you?
Hot take. Love a hot take.
I would say for exercise, like feeling like you can only do high intensity and that's the only way you're going to receive results. Like I ate yesterday and I'm going to go on a 10-mile run. Like that's not me, and you don't need to do high intensity all the time. Like, you're really just going to burn yourself out there.
Love that.
Like, that's so hard to promote. Yeah.
What do we think about 75 hard?
I mean, I don't think it needs to be as intense. I even tell my patients, I'm like, if you want an excuse to say you're starting, like, love that.
Right.
Yeah.
Go for it.
But like me and my boyfriend, we were like, all right, we're gonna pay attention to make sure we're eating our protein and we're going on our walks, and we need to move our bodies, like starting, I guess, like in December. So we didn't do like start of January, and like it made a difference. So like I'm not totally against 75 hard, but this isn't something I'm going to stop when come like
at the end of 75 days.
Right. Yeah. Like it wasn't intense. So I don't think it needs to be this intense thing where you're just trying to lose weight in 75 days. I think it's a good, if that's when you want to start making your like lifestyle changes, like then okay, go for it. Right. So like that's kind of my take on it, because I kind of did it. So like I don't want to like down it, right? Because I did it in a way.
We last year we both did a 30 soft.
I love that.
We did do that.
I love that.
Yeah, like after Christmas we were like, all right, things are getting out of control. Like, what are 5 habits we can implement back into our life to feel better? And like that was something. But like 75 hard is so hard because it's all or nothing. And I just feel like it's like not sustainable, because it's like putting somebody on like Weight Watchers, for instance, then like they're gone and it's like, all right, well, swim. It's like, well, then it's over and it's like, what do you do from here? And it's really good for implementing like habits, but like I almost feel like it takes it to the other extreme where you can't wait for it to be over.
Right. There's a finish line and then it's done.
Yes, it's sad. It's like when you can't wait for, like, I don't want what I've been working on the past, I guess, I don't know how long I've been working on it. Just like drinking my water, moving my body, like doing things that actually make me feel good. Like, I don't want that to end. But 75 hard, that's so true. Like sometimes you're like, oh, I can't wait for the end.
Yeah. Because
like
we did a big, like Vincent and I did a couple like Arbonne cleanses, which is basically like a 70-30 lifestyle where you just drink protein all day long, and these like fizz sticks, which are like these energy things that are supposed to replace coffee. And we both lost weight and we both felt great. But like then you kind of, and they're very big on the Arbonne world of like becoming that 70-30, which I love. And like we still sometimes will do the Arbonne protein. Like I love their protein, and like I'm overall like what their goal is with it. And we have like people we look up to in the Arbonne world, but like I am no longer looking for like a 30-day challenge or like something where I'm going to measure myself at the beginning and measure myself at the end. Which kind of brings me to, how do you guys feel about weighing yourself? Do you guys do that or no?
I don't.
I like didn't for a while, and then I'll weigh myself every once in a while. Like if I notice that, because I mean, as girls, I mean, it can cause anxiety. So like, if I notice it's like causing me anxiety, I'm just like, I'm not gonna stress myself out to get on the scale. It's not that big of a deal.
That's something I've found, at least from my life. Like, I don't weigh myself.
Right.
Like, for me, I just want my clothes to fit. And I want to wake up in the morning and feel good. Like, I want to feel energized. And if my clothes fit and I feel energized, like, I'm good. I don't give a shit what the scale says.
I feel like there's so many different markers that are better for you than just do that. Like, and that's what we kind of teach in the workbook. It's like, well, after you exercise today, how did you feel? How do you feel? Like, my mom's friend was just telling me she doesn't step on the scale anymore because it's discouraging. She puts on the same pair of jeans every Friday. And she's like, that is my marker. And I'm like, that is exactly what we need. Like, the scale is just so nonsense and baloney. I've gotten to a place where I'm comfortable with like getting on it, and it doesn't like
define
activate my fight or flight, but it's like I don't need to go on it, and that's not how I wake up and know how well I'm doing.
Or how your day's gonna be just by stepping on the scale. Like, it's not that.
Because when you do stick to the sustainable habits, like, you're gonna notice those things just like we said. Like, we were both talking a month ago when we went to Cheer Nationals. Like, we haven't been drinking as much. We've been making our meals. We've actually been packing lunch. We've been walking more. And, like, not to an extreme. Like, Cass still had ice cream there. Like, we still do these things. But it's
you're
like,
both dessert girls, right?
Both, sweet tooth. But, like, we both were like, we feel so good. Like, we have so much energy. We're not inflamed. Like, we just feel so good. We have more energy, like, at work. And that's when it's sustainable, because like we notice how great we feel when we're doing it. And it's like, I don't want those things to go away, because that's actually a part of my life now.
Obsessed. All right, 2 more topics I want to talk about. One you just touched on, alcohol. How do we feel about alcohol in this wellness space?
I mean, we both were at the office all day on Saturday, like drinking.
Right, so we're not sober.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. But like, we also definitely don't drink as much as we used to.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we've both become more in tune with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, like you said, we'll drink. But it's, I guess, like how even earlier how you said with the coffee mate, like people on social media like are saying like the ingredients in like coffee mate is like toxic.
Yeah.
But like then we're going and drinking alcohol.
Right. Yeah. Then we're gonna go
like,
drink a margarita
That's kind of
afterwards.
like we know that alcohol is like a toxin. Like it is poisonous to our body. Like I'm not gonna not drink it. I do.
Right.
But then like that's a like you gotta weigh.
Moderation.
I think like the biggest thing is like we used to like, you know, you're post grad, you're looking for something to do. We were like, what are we doing this weekend? We're not really like that anymore.
Right,
like,
right.
We have events and we're looking forward to them, but like then we have it and we're good. But
Right.
we don't need to go out and drink. Like there's so many more activities that we've been filling our cups up with recently.
Totally love that.
And
Yeah.
I've been loving not drinking as much.
Yeah, me
like
too.
not closed off to it, but like even like when people are like, let's just go get a drink or two. It's like, but why?
Why?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
I'd rather
Go get
not.
a cup of coffee and go for a walk.
Yeah.
So that's like kind of where we're at right now. Like we drink, but we're just not 21 anymore
Yes,
doing
yes.
it like crazy.
Yes, and I have friends that it's like I think like when in college, like it's just a natural thing that like
Yeah.
you're just doing all the time. It's just you have access to it 24/7, and then it's like, okay, how do I healthily fit this in my life, and like how do I make sure I'm not surrounding like everything in my life around
Yeah.
it? I don't have to drink to go hang out with a friend. Like it's just such a like an adjustment in your mind. I love that. I love that. There was one more thing I wanted to say. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on it now. I'm gonna be mad if I don't bring it up. Okay, we'll pivot. So let's talk. Where can we find you on social media? Let's like plug our social medias, all our handles, everything that people can find you on.
I mean, I'm on Instagram and TikTok at Brie Finding Balance. And then also our combined Instagram, which is at KNB Lifestyle, literally KNB Lifestyle.
Yeah.
And then Cass's.
And then my just personal Instagram is just Kassidy Malek.
Easy peasy.
Yeah,
Easy
my
peasy.
name.
So what's something you want to leave us with? Something you're passionate about, like our last chance to plug anything or anything you want the world to know about you.
I mean, I kind of just feel like what we've been talking about, like sustainable habits are going to get you so much further than the quick fixes, and just becoming more in tune with your body and like doing all the things, like trying to increase your steps and just move in a way that feels good and in tune with your mental health. Like that's so sustainable. And like you'll realize how happy and full your life is when you are taking care of yourself, and like you open up so many doors for other things.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Just eat food as a dietitian, eat foods that like you physically feel good from eating.
Yeah.
Pay attention to that. And then join our K&B community.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hit them with a follow.
Yeah.
And slide in your DMs. Is that the best way to get in contact
Oh
with
yeah,
you?
like we
Slide in the
love,
DMs.
we send each other our DMs all the time whenever anyone DMs us. So we love
we
that.
screenshot
Slide
them.
in.
We're like, oh my God, look, someone DM'd us. We love it.
We're always
Obsessed.
an open book, anything. So
Yes.
always feel free.
And would you talk to like I have a lot of mom friends that are like trying to
Oh my God, yeah.
How do we feel about moms?
Oh my God,
Yes.
yeah, like
Yeah.
superheroes, and
Good.
that is such an underserved like
Yes.
community. Like you
Yes.
guys need support, you guys need help, and it's like a really hard time because your body's changing, and it's hard.
Yes.
And I think we can help, like, especially moms, but anybody, like, help you understand your body. Because, like, we went to school for that. Like, we understand
Right.
nutritionally what's happening, exercise, what's happening in
Yeah.
each stage. So, anybody,
Obsessed.
but I think moms would really benefit from that.
Yeah.
Well, hit them with the follow, slide in the DMs, and it's been an honor to have you guys on. Like I said, these two are only going to grow from here. I think social media is the way to go, and I feel like you guys are going to crush it, especially when you like quit your jobs and go all in, which I hope is soon because I think you should. So final plug for them. Thank you all for tuning into this episode of Life on the App, and we'll see you next week.